Can a Space Marine from Warhammer 40k fill the boots of his Space Marine brother from Doom, slice his way through demonic legions, and rise to the legendary status of Doomslayer? Let's find out. The Space Marine that we'll be using to answer that question today is none other than Lieutenant Titus of the Ultramarines. Titus stands as one of the most accomplished and brutal warriors in the Empyrean of Man. He'll be fitted with his standard loadout. We'll take a look at relevant attributes and accomplishments that he has, how he'll run down against the various beasts and bosses of hell, and then compare that to how the Doomslayer fared against the exact same scenarios on his rise to godhood. Titus is a Primaris enhanced Space Marine, meaning his physiology is superior to even other Astartes. This puts him in a much stronger starting position than where Doomguy was when he began his journey, even if you include the Praetor suit. Strength. Titus can lift multi-ton objects, smash a Chaos Marine with his bare hands, and blast through reinforced structures. This gives him way more physical strength than Doomguy had at the start of his journey as well. Titus's physical strength is on an entirely different level at this point. Durability. A Space Marine's power armor is one of the most durable suits for combat in all existence. It's resistant to plasma, explosive rounds, and warp-based attacks. While it's not indestructible, Titus can shrug off most attacks that would take out any regular human due to his power enhancements alone, and that doesn't even include the upgrades to his physiology. Speaking of physiology, let's move on to speed and reflexes. Titus is incredibly fast considering the size and weight of his power armor. However, he is not as fast as Doomguy. He relies a lot more on durability and stamina over time than raw agility and speed. Regeneration and healing. The Doomslayer often relies on health pickups and glory KOs to sustain himself in battle. Titus will have access to these on his journey through hell, but he has one additional benefit. He has built-in organs that allow him to heal from wounds that would normally be fatal, enter suspended animation, and recover from devastating injuries over time. So, as long as he's not taken out immediately, he can actually recover rather quickly and get back into the fight. And again, that's only if he's not able to sustain himself with health pickups and glory KOs like the Doomguy did, and I'm actually pretty sure that he'll do just fine with those alone. Mental resistance. This is actually one of Titus's greatest strengths. Space Marines are specially conditioned to not only be immune to fear, but psychic attacks, demonic corruption, and insanity. This is actually one of the biggest keys to his survival, because without it, he would succumb to the whispers of the Dark Lord just like any other normal human would in Doomscape. So far so good, and I have to say that so far, starting from the beginning, Titus has a pretty big advantage over Doomguy's start. Let's move on to combat experience and battle prowess. Prior to our experience with him in the games, all we really know about Doomguy's beginnings is that he was a regular Space Marine on Earth who was dishonorably discharged for assaulting a commanding officer and refusing an order to fire on an unarmed crowd of civilians. Beyond that, we aren't really sure if he has any real combat experience or if the only thing he went through prior to the games was just standard military training. After his journey to become the Doomslayer begins, though, his feats are wildly impressive. He single-handedly annihilated Hell's entire armies multiple times. He defeated the Dark Lord himself, or Davoth as he's actually known, who is literally the creator of all things, including the Doomslayer. And to top it all off, he fought for literal eons in hell with no food, no water, no rest, no stopping. I mean, can you really get a feat that's actually bigger than that? However, Titus has an impressive resume of his own that he'll bring the experience from with him on his journey through the hellish landscape of Doom. He has slaughtered hordes of demons, chaos forces, and tyrannids all by himself. He also defeated a greater demon of chaos, an incarnation of the Chaos God, a being capable of altering reality and is virtually impervious to mortal weapons. To finish this section off, he's survived prolonged exposure to the warp, a parallel dimension of pure energy and emotion that normally instantly destroys normal beings. Titus is no slouch. So while the Doomslayer does become an elite warrior god of hell-slaying might, Titus is starting off as an elite warrior capable of slaying greater demons that are the incarnation of their chaos god. Pretty good. They both have no fear and are essentially unstoppable so far as we can tell, but I still have to give the edge to Titus starting off here because he comes with far more experience, physical capabilities, mental resistance, and just about everything he needs to start his Doomslayer journey. What will he be bringing on this journey? Well, his loadout will be a bolt rifle, or basically an automatic mini rocket launcher, his bolt pistol, a chain sword, and his legendary suit. With all this in mind, how does Titus get to Hell and face off against all the demon forces that are going to be waiting for him there? Imagine this. Titus is out on the front lines with his Ultramarine brothers, pressing forward to their objective through hordes of Tyranids, when suddenly a portal opens, but not one like the warp portals he's seen before. As they continue to fight, he keeps his eye on this new development on the battlefield. Suddenly, demons unlike any he's seen before start pouring through the portal towards his Astartes brothers. He knows that as strong as his brothers are, they can't hold the line while fighting on two fronts. If this horde makes it to his men, their ranks will be broken. Titus charges off, laying waste to the demons heading this way, throwing grenades and ripping them apart as he goes. He sees an artifact through the portal, seemingly holding it open, and realizes the only way to save his brothers and their mission is to go through that portal and destroy the artifact. But this will be a one-way ticket. He leaps through the portal, fights his way to the artifact, and destroys it. Sealing it off and needing to find a different way home, he presses on to see what challenges await him in this strange, hellish new world. Hope you guys like that. Now, let's assess how he'll handle these different threats he'll be facing off against as he journeys through the Doomscape. With basic soldiers, we can assume this plays out about how it does in Space Marine 2, with Titus absolutely carving his way through hordes of imps and low-level demon soldiers with his chainsword, and they honestly probably can't even damage his suit. Move up a level to Hell Knights and Barons. These are large and formidable, but they're not so different from other large and sometimes large and armored enemies that he's faced off against before. After a small skirmish and assessing the situation, he rips through them pretty easily as well. Revenants. Being well versed in fighting against creatures who can fire back from a distance, this is going to go pretty smoothly for Space Marine Titus as well. He'll take them out from a distance before he goes in to engage in close quarters combat, and this is another easy sweep for Titus. What about Keiko demons? Flying and floating creatures are once again something that he is very experienced in handling with efficiency. Such as Zoanthropes or Neurotyrants, he's able to fight back, cut them down, and bring them to a level playing field without a whole lot of difficulty here either. Time for some heavy hitters. How does Titus stand up against a cyber demon? This is where his victories will slow down a little bit, but considering that his standard loadout falls in line with heavy weapons from Doom, while this fight might take a little bit longer than his previous skirmishes, he's going to eventually take these boys down as well. Arc Vials. While these guys could certainly complicate things if left unchecked, Titus's battle IQ has him quickly recognize that these need to be prioritized as a big target so that he can take them out before they really have a chance to spawn in a whole lot more enemies, and then he moves back on towards taking out the rest of the horde. Marauders. Now these guys are a proper challenge for our boy Titus. Both armored and heavily armed, these corrupted Night Sentinels have to be treated with caution even by an Ultramarine like Titus. Through a well thought out and orchestrated approach, very different from how Doomslayer would come at it, Titus will come out even against these guys on top once again. Even though Marauders have the ability to parry attacks, Titus is well versed in countering things himself and has got lots of practice in it if you've played Space Marine 2. Hell Guards. These powerful biological mechs will stand in Titus's way of acquiring the Crucible, something he will absolutely need if he's going to truly conquer Hell, become the Doomslayer, and eventually find his way home. Considering he carries an automatic rocket launcher, he will eventually break through their exoskeleton, exposing weaknesses that he can then exploit mid-battle to eventually bring these guys down and get the Crucible for himself, and he will leave his chainsword behind, embedded in their skulls, I'm sure. Time for some bosses. How does Titus hold up against the Icon of Sin? This arena fight is no more challenging for Titus than it was for Doom Guy. While he may not have access to the BFG, he does have his standard bolter, which is still going to outclass most of Doom Guy's regular arsenal, which was fully capable of destroying and damaging the Icon of Sin's armor and exposing its body to real damage. The Demon Titan. While we don't know much about how Doom Guy actually took this thing down, we do know that he did it while he was still human. And considering that everything else so far has gone about the same way, especially the fight with the Icon of Sin, it's pretty fair to assume that Titus would be able to handle the Demon Titan in a similar capacity to how Doom Guy did. As it did with Doom Guy, impressed the Seraphim to a point where they believe that Titus is the chosen one, bringing him to the Divinity Machine and granting him the power necessary to become the Doomslayer. And from here, Titus, or should I say the Doomslayer, topples the Dreadnought and ends up coming to blows with the Dark Lord himself. In a gripping battle that shows Titus just how far he can go with his new powers as the Doomslayer and have a few words to exchange. The Dark Lord asks, "You are not of my world. I did not forge you. Yet here you stand, blade in hand. Tell me, warrior, what god sent you to kill me?" Titus responds, "I serve no god. I fight because it is my duty, and you will fall as all enemies of the Imperium do." And Titus thrusts his blade into the Dark Lord, vanquishing the creator of this realm. With his newfound power and undiminished drive to find a way home to his brothers so that he can use his new powers to turn the tides of war in their favor, he presses on in this timeless land, looking for the answers he needs. That's my take on what would happen if a Space Marine from Warhammer 40k entered the Doom universe on a journey to become Doomslayer and find his way home. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you in the next one.